Hey, it's great to have you here today. Seriously, whether you're listening to this while getting ready for your day, winding down at night, or just needing a boost of real, no-fluff advice, I want to thank you for showing up for yourself. That tells me one thing. You're not just here for attention or games or surface-level stuff. You're here because you care about connection and you want to be your most powerful, magnetic self inside and out of the bedroom. Now, let's talk about something that people don't talk about enough, at least not in a way that's real. We hear so much about what men want in bed, but most of it sounds like it's straight out of a bad movie. Performative, unrealistic, and often designed to make women feel like they're never enough. But let me tell you something, real men, emotionally available, deeply attracted, mature men, they don't want a performance. They want presence. They want a woman who is in tune with herself, who can meet the moment with openness, confidence, and authenticity. So today we're diving into what those men actually find irresistibly sexy in the bedroom. These are not tips from a magazine. These are real truths gathered from honest conversations and years of understanding human connection. Because what makes you unforgettable to a man isn't some wild position or secret trick. It's the energy you bring, the way you make him feel seen, the way you bring your full self into intimacy without shame, fear, or hesitation. So whether you're in a new relationship, rekindling the spark, or just wanting to deepen the intimacy you already have, this message is for you. Let's talk about the 6 sexiest things women do in bed, according to men who actually care. Are you ready? Let's go. Confidence in your own skin is, without question, one of the sexiest things a woman can bring into the bedroom. And it has nothing to do with being a certain size, shape, or looking like someone from a filtered Instagram reel. It's not about having flawless skin or the perfect lighting. It's about the energy you carry when you walk into a room or into a moment with a man. It's the way you hold yourself. It's the way you move, the way you let your eyes linger just a little longer, the way you let your presence be felt without apology. When you are comfortable in your body, when you are at ease with yourself, that confidence radiates more powerfully than any piece of lingerie ever could. You see, men aren't as focused on the small things that women often stress over. They're not noticing whether your stomach is perfectly flat or if you have stretch marks. They're tuned into how you feel about yourself. That's what they respond to. If you're constantly pulling the sheets over yourself, avoiding eye contact, or tensing up because you're judging your own body, that energy gets communicated, whether you realize it or not. But if you're free in your body, if you allow yourself to enjoy the moment, if you touch him and let yourself be touched without fear or shame, it changes everything. You become magnetic, not because you're perfect, but because you're real and unapologetic. Confidence is about presence. It's about being there fully without being trapped in your head. When a woman is truly present, feeling every sensation, every breath, every kiss, it's intoxicating and it's rare. So many people are distracted, self-conscious, or emotionally guarded. But when a woman is brave enough to drop all of that, when she trusts herself enough to just be without trying to impress, without trying to perform, that vulnerability becomes her superpower. That level of comfort is what draws a man in and makes the experience not just pleasurable, but unforgettable. And the beautiful thing is, confidence isn't a performance either. You don't have to fake it. In fact, fake confidence comes off just like fake intimacy. It leaves both people feeling a little disconnected. Real confidence comes from accepting yourself, from knowing that your worth isn't tied to what you look like in the mirror, but to how you love, how you show up, how you express yourself. When you believe that you're worthy of love, desire, and pleasure just as you are, that belief transforms the entire energy of the room. So yes, the sexiest thing you can wear is not something you buy. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you breathe into your body, the way you let your walls come down. That kind of confidence doesn't just turn a man on. It makes him feel like he's witnessing something rare, something honest, something powerful. It makes him want you, not because of what you're doing, but because of who you are. Eye contact is one of those subtle things that most people completely overlook when it comes to attraction and intimacy, but it's also one of the most powerful tools you have for creating a real, deep connection with a man. There's something undeniably sexy about a woman who isn't afraid to look into a man's eyes, not just in passing, but in those intimate, vulnerable, electric moments. It's not just sexy, it's magnetic. And the truth is, for a man, eye contact during intimacy doesn't just arouse him, it draws him in emotionally. It speaks to something deeper. It says, I'm here with you. This is real. In a world full of distractions, where people barely look up from their phones, where connection has been replaced with performance, that kind of eye contact is disarming, it's rare, it cuts through the noise. Because here's the truth, intimacy without presence is just a transaction. But when you look someone in the eyes while you're close, when your gaze holds him, even for a few seconds, it tells him something that words never could. It tells him that this isn't just physical for you. It tells him that you're not hiding. You're not somewhere else in your head. You're not just letting things happen. You're in it with him. And the beauty of this kind of eye contact is that it doesn't require you to be perfect. It's not about looking seductive or rehearsed. In fact, when you're trying too hard to look sexy, it can come off as forced. But real, raw eye contact, that's human. And that's intimacy. That's what makes a man feel not just desired, but seen. It's not just about lust. It's about emotional availability, vulnerability. And let me tell you, there is nothing sexier than a woman who is emotionally available in a moment of physical closeness. For men, this kind of eye contact can almost be a form of permission. It gives him permission to slow down, to stop performing, to really be with you instead of just being in the act. It helps shift his focus from trying to impress to actually connecting. And if you've ever been with a man who suddenly becomes more gentle, more passionate, or more emotionally open during a moment of eye contact, you've seen the power it holds. Sometimes it's the moment everything shifts. The moment it goes from casual to electric, from just sex to something more meaningful. And don't be afraid if it feels a little intense at first. That's natural. Eye contact is vulnerable. It can be intimidating, but it's also the bridge between your body and your heart. And when you offer that level of openness, you invite the other person to do the same. You create a safe space. You create connection. You create depth. So next time you're in an intimate moment, I want you to remember this. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything dramatic. Just look at him. Let your eyes do what words can't. Let him feel you, really feel you through that gaze. Because sometimes the sexiest thing you can do is simply see him and let yourself be seen too. Let's talk about one of the sexiest, most underrated things a woman can do in bed: taking initiative. Now, I get it. For years, we've all been fed this idea that men are supposed to be the initiators. They're the ones who make the first move, who lead in the bedroom, who decide when and how things escalate. But here's the truth that more men wish women knew. Initiative from a woman isn't just sexy, it's powerfully attractive. It signals confidence, desire, and a sense of ownership over your pleasure and his. When a woman takes the lead, even in small ways, it flips a switch in a man's brain. Suddenly, he's not the one pushing for closeness. He's being chosen. He's not trying to convince you, he's watching you claim what you want. And for a man who's genuinely into you, there is nothing more exciting than feeling like you want him just as much as he wants you. That kind of energy ignites something primal, something real, something unforgettable. This doesn't mean you have to dominate every moment or be aggressive. Initiative doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. It can be as subtle as leaning in to kiss him first, as simple as pulling him closer, as honest as whispering in his ear what you want him to do next. It's about creating the rhythm together, not waiting for him to set the pace every time. And here's what's beautiful about this. When you initiate, you're not only showing him your confidence, you're giving him a gift. You're taking pressure off of him to always be in control. You're making intimacy a shared experience, not a performance. And let's be clear, this doesn't make you look desperate. That's one of the biggest myths out there. Desperation is when you give yourself away just to keep someone interested. Initiative is about owning your desires. It's about knowing your worth, knowing what you enjoy, and not being afraid to go after it. Men who are worth your time are not turned off by that. In fact, they're more likely to respect you, adore you, and be even more excited by you when you bring that energy into the bedroom. You might be surprised how many men are silently hoping their partner will take more control. Not because they don't want to lead, Because it feels amazing to be desired. It feels good to be wanted in an active way. And when you take that moment to reach for him, to guide the next move, to say without words, I'm into this, I'm into you, you're doing more than initiating intimacy. You're building confidence in him, you're deepening trust, and you're creating a chemistry that doesn't fizzle out after a few weeks or months. So don't hold back. If you want him, show him. If something feels good, tell him. If you're craving more connection, take the first step. You don't have to wait to be invited. You are the invitation. And that, in his eyes, is unbelievably sexy. Let's get one thing straight right now. Vocalizing pleasure isn't about putting on a show. It's not about recreating some over-the-top scene you saw in a movie, or thinking you need to sound a certain way to be sexy. Real men, the kind that care about your experience, your body, your mind, they don't want a performance. What they crave is authenticity. And when it comes to intimacy, one of the sexiest things a woman can do is express her pleasure in a way that's natural, raw, and honest. When you vocalize what you're feeling, not to impress, but because you're genuinely in the moment, it sends a powerful message. It tells him that you're not just physically there, you're emotionally present too, that you're not holding back, that you trust him enough to let go. And for a man who truly cares about you, that is incredibly affirming. It reassures him, it draws him deeper into the connection. It makes him want to stay there with you, completely tuned in. But here's the key. This isn't about faking anything. In fact, faking pleasure is one of the fastest ways to damage intimacy, because what you're doing, even if unintentionally, is training him to misread your body. You're teaching him that something that didn't really feel good did. And over time, that disconnect grows, not just in your physical connection, but emotionally too, because if you can't be honest in your most vulnerable moments, when can you be? Now, you don't have to be loud to be expressive. Vocalizing pleasure can be as soft as a breath, a moan, a whispered word of encouragement. It can be saying yes, or that feels amazing, or even guiding him gently with your voice. It's about using your words or your sounds to let him in, to say, I'm here, I feel this, and I want you to know. And you might be surprised by how much that means to him. Men aren't mind readers. As confident as they may seem, many of them are silently asking, am I doing this right? Does she like this? Is she into it? When you vocalize your pleasure, you take away the guesswork and replace it with connection, clarity, and confidence. And for you, vocalizing is also a form of liberation. It means you're letting your body lead. You're not shrinking. You're not worrying about how you sound or how you look. You're letting go of control. And that kind of surrender, the kind that comes from trust, comfort, and presence, is deeply sexy. It tells him that you're not just allowing intimacy to happen, you're co-creating it. So don't silence yourself, don't hold it in. Let it out, not for him, but for you. Because when your pleasure is real, when your voice is aligned with what your body is feeling, that's when you're the most powerful, the most radiant, the most unforgettable. That's when the bedroom becomes not just a place of passion, but a place of real, honest connection. One of the most powerful yet underrated things a woman can do in bed is guide his touch. Now let's clear something up right away. Guiding doesn't mean correcting or criticizing. It's not about pointing out what he's doing wrong. It's about deepening the connection by letting him in on your experience. Because the truth is, most men genuinely want to please the woman they're with. They want to create pleasure, connection, and chemistry. But they're not mind readers, and when a woman confidently, gently, sensually guides him, it's not only helpful, it's deeply sexy. Think about it. We live in a world where a lot of people feel pressure to just go along with what's happening in the moment, to stay quiet, to avoid seeming difficult or too much. But when you take a man's hand and place it where you want it, when you whisper to him what you like, when you move your body in a way that shows him exactly what feels good, you're not just communicating your desires, you're showing him that you're fully present, fully alive, and fully unafraid to take ownership of your pleasure. That level of clarity, that level of confidence doesn't just guide him physically, it turns him on emotionally. Because here's what you may not realize. When you guide a man's touch, it tells him he's safe with you, safe to explore, safe to learn, safe to be vulnerable too. You're creating a space where both of you can stop guessing and start truly experiencing each other. It's not about perfection, it's about co-creating something that's real, responsive, and deeply personal. And for him, that's exhilarating. But what makes this so powerful isn't just the physical direction, it's the energy behind it. It's the way you communicate without shame. It's your ability to say yes, more of that, or a little softer, or even just move his hands slowly and deliberately with intention. That subtle but clear feedback tells him that you trust yourself, that you know your body, that you're not waiting for him to figure you out. You're inviting him to join you in discovery. And guess what? That confidence is what makes him want to follow your lead. It doesn't threaten him, it inspires him. A woman who knows how to guide a man's touch is a woman who makes intimacy a two-way dance, not a solo performance where he has to guess the steps. It makes him feel connected to you, not just to your body. And when that happens, it changes everything. So if there's one thing I'd encourage you to practice, it's this. Stop worrying about being polite in bed. Stop waiting for him to get it right on his own. Show him, teach him. Not like a professor, but like a lover, with patience, with warmth, with passion. Because when you guide his touch with confidence and kindness, you're not just improving the experience, you're deepening the bond. And that is what truly unforgettable intimacy is built on. Let's talk about something that often gets overlooked in conversations about sex, but is one of the most irresistible things a woman can bring into the bedroom: playfulness. That energy of fun, spontaneity, teasing, laughter, the kind of lightheartedness that says, I'm comfortable, I'm present, and I'm enjoying you just as much as I'm enjoying this moment. Men find that unbelievably sexy. And it's not because it turns sex into a comedy show, it's because it adds authenticity, chemistry, and emotional safety to intimacy. See, a lot of people walk into intimacy carrying invisible pressure. Pressure to perform, pressure to look perfect, pressure to do everything right. And that pressure, even if it's subtle, can take the life right out of the experience. But when you allow yourself to relax, when you're not in your head constantly analyzing or when you give yourself permission to be silly or laugh or say something unexpected, that's when the magic happens. Because real intimacy isn't a polished act. It's a moment, raw, unscripted, human. And being playful says, I trust you enough to be myself here. And believe me, men feel that shift. When you're playful, whether it's teasing him, making a cheeky comment, laughing at a moment that didn't go perfectly, you put him at ease. You create a space where he doesn't have to be some flawless seducer. He gets to be real with you too. And that kind of emotional relief actually enhances physical chemistry. Because when two people are relaxed, enjoying each other, and not trying to prove anything, that's when things get electric. Playfulness is also incredibly intimate because it builds connection beyond just the physical. It reminds both of you that this isn't about checking boxes or acting out a script. It's about you and him in a private, vulnerable, beautiful space that belongs only to the two of you. And those moments, the ones filled with laughter, spontaneity, and mutual joy, are the ones he remembers long after the physical experience fades. It's also worth saying, playful doesn't mean immature. It means light-hearted presence. It's those moments when you nudge him or share a private joke or get a little mischievous with your touch or words. It's when you let your inner flirt out, not to manipulate, but to connect. That energy is magnetic because it's rooted in confidence and comfort. And when a woman is comfortable enough to be playful, a man feels invited into her world, not just her body. So if you've ever felt like intimacy had to be serious or perfectly choreographed, I'm here to tell you, let that go. Let go of the pressure, let go of the need to be perfect, and lean into play. Trust that being fully yourself, goofy, witty, unpredictable, is not just okay, it's incredibly attractive. Because when you bring that joyful, playful spirit into the bedroom, you don't just turn him on, you make him fall for you. So let's wrap this up with a truth that too often gets lost in the noise of performance, pressure, and perfection. The sexiest things a woman can do in bed aren't about being some kind of fantasy. They're not about mimicking what you think men want. They're about showing up as your most present, connected, and confident self. Whether it's the way you make eye contact that pulls him in, the way you guide his touch with intention, or how you let out that unfiltered laugh in the middle of a moment, that's what leaves a mark. It's not about technique as much as it is about energy. And when your energy says, I'm here with you, I trust myself, and I'm not afraid to feel this, that becomes unforgettable. Men may fantasize about looks, scenarios, or certain physical things, but what they crave, what they remember, and what they fall for is the experience of being with a woman who owns her desire, isn't afraid to speak up, and brings warmth, playfulness, and presence into the space between you. So here's my challenge to you. Take these 6 things and look at them not as a checklist, but as invitations. Invitations to connect more deeply, express more honestly, and show up more fully. Because you don't need to change who you are to be sexy. You just need to trust who you are in those intimate moments. And if this resonated with you, if you're ready to deepen your connection, attract real intimacy, and understand men on a whole new level, then don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button, tap the like, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And in the comments below, tell me which of these 6 spoke to you the most. Which one are you going to embody tonight or next time you're with someone? Because at the end of the day, real sexiness isn't about impressing him, it's about expressing you. And when you do that, that's when you become the woman he can't stop thinking about. Until next time, stay confident, stay magnetic, and remember, you are the prize.